Welcome to your Monday Sports Report. Oh yeah. Anyway, so I watched 3 NFL games yesterday. Kind of. I don't watch them the whole way through. I kind of like. But anyways, so 3 games yesterday. I watched Ravens versus the Bengals and no Ravens versus the Browns. And that game was very low scoring at first. It was like 3-3 in the first half, and it was like, whoa, this game's going nowhere. So in the second half, it was a touchdown by the Browns, and the Ravens are down 10-3 going into the fourth quarter. If they lose, they miss the playoffs. But they went down and got a field goal, made it 10-6. Then Joe Flacco lit up and ran them down later in the game for two touchdown passes in the fourth quarter. One was with 7.5 left in the fourth, made it 10. No, it made it 13-10 Ravens, and then another one made it 20-10 Ravens, and they ended up winning 20-10 over the Browns. Then I watched a second game, which was another playing game. And by the way, the Ravens winning, clinching the playoff berth. The second game was Panthers versus the Falcons. See, I have trouble remembering all this stuff. But that game was just Panthers pretty much all the way. I mean, they scored 10 points in the first quarter on offense. Cam Newton was on fire. The running game was good, everything, and they had a fumble recovery that they took in for a touchdown, and they had another just interception that was run back for a touchdown. The Panthers on defense were just playing exceptionally well. It was 24-3 going into halftime. The only thing good for the Falcons was a Devin Hester return, and they only got a field goal out of that. So, anyways, in the second half, the Panthers kicked a field goal, making it 27-3, and then there was another in the fourth quarter, just at the very end of the third, another interception return for a touchdown for the Panthers, making the final score 34-3. There was no points in the fourth quarter. I just turned the game off. I'm like, it's over. I can do a report on this. The third game was, a favorite because I'm a Steelers fan. Woohoo! Steelers versus the Bengals. What happened in Steelers versus the Bengals is basically Antonio Brown was just great because he's always great. He had a punt return that went back for a touchdown. Then the Bengals put up 10 points on offense, and it was 10-7 going into the second. And okay, it's a game, whatever. It's a long game, But the Steelers had, I think, interceptions that they took in, and then they got a touchdown, and it was 14-10, and then they got a couple field goals, and at halftime it was 20-10. The defense was playing really well too. Like I said, they had some interceptions, and they took some. Ben Roethlisberger led them down, got a touchdown, some field goals. Anyways, 20-10 at halftime. So into the second half, actually no points in the third quarter, but there was a injury to Le'Veon Bell. He hyperextended his knee, and at first they don't know if it was tear. I have to look. I don't know on the update on that, but that would be huge if he can't play next week. If he can, that's still huge because he's like one of their best running backs that I've seen since like Jerome Bettis or something. Like, he's really freaking good. So in the second half, in the fourth quarter though, the Bengals went down and scored a touchdown. Then there was the Steelers had the ball and they were on fourth down, and they're by 3, and they decided to fake punt it. And the punter tried to pass, and it was intercepted or something. And the Bengals had the ball in good field position. 5 minutes left in the game. 3-point game. 3, not 2. They're only down by 3. And then you're thinking, oh crap, it's going to be intense now when it would look like the Steelers are dominating. But the Bengals luckily fumbled. Then there was a 3rd and 8 for the Steelers. With 3 minutes left, the Bengals still had most of their timeouts, 2 or 3. And you're thinking, okay, if they get a stop here, then the Bengals are going to have a chance at the end. It's going to be intense. It's going to be blah, blah, blah. But then Ben Roethlisberger threw this little 10-yard sideline pass to Antonio Brown. He broke free of his defender. He actually ran to his own man and just ran the whole way for a touchdown, making the final score 27-17 Steelers. Now, with the playoffs coming up, yeah, I might talk about that. No. Like I said, I don't want the 1 or 2 seeds to win, so I don't want, Seattle or the Packers or the Broncos or the Patriots. I don't want any of the Steelers division rivals like Baltimore, Ravens, or the Bengals. I want mine the Steelers or the Colts. And I don't want Arizona because then I don't want them to have the home field advantage in the playoffs. And for next, so and I want either the Dallas Cowboys or the Lions. Not the Lions. I mean the Panthers. I want the Panthers. Anyways, for next week, I think the Steelers are going to beat the Ravens. I think the Colts are going to beat the Bengals. I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Lions. And I think the Panthers are going to beat the Cardinals. And that is it. Goodbye. See you tomorrow or whenever I do a next sport.